Shalom and good day all, this is Healing29 back again for graphic novels I have recently read through between December 2024 into January 2025. As you can see here, there's quite a list of them, and some of them I have actually purchased, and I guess did another purchase of something that I already got once before, but still decided to read through it anyway because of how good the characters and story were. So, starting off with first things first, and that's the titles of the graphic novels that I've been reading through. So we have Hack Slash, Back to School. Next is The Ultimate Spider-Man, which is connected to Hickman. Next is The Terrifics, which is a really good series. Came out of the DC Metal New Age of Heroes. Fantastic. I absolutely enjoyed reading through this last volume. And I do want to point out one thing. It took me ages to find some of these volumes in relation to The Terrifics. But it was definitely worth the read. Next is The Immortal Men. It would be nice to see the Immortal Men return in the DC universe right now, along with I think it was the DC Bloodlines. I reckon they would be a great team up together. Next we have a bit of an oldie, but also a bit of a goodie too. I'm not too sure if anyone might remember this series, but it's Defenders of the Earth. And of course we have some stories by Stan Lee, Bob Harras. Of course, we've got Michael Higgins, Alex Sayuki, and Fred Fredericks. And I must admit, this was actually really good to enjoy. It absolutely, considering how old these stories are, it certainly respects sort of like the origins of, say, the animated series that came out called Defenders of the Earth. And of course we've got the character of Lothar, Flash Gordon, and Mandrake, and you do learn that these characters sort of like have I guess some legacy characters of their own. With the Phantom himself, he's got basically his niece that he's training up. With Flash Gordon, he's got his son Rick. With Flash, with Lothar, I think he's got his son, and Mandrake, I think he's got someone who is sort of like training under his tutelage to become a magician like him. I forget his name, but it was certainly a really good series and definitely worth checking out. Next we have Robotech Rick Hunter, Spider-Boy. Of course, this is something brought in by Dan Slott. Love or hate the series, it's up to you. Next we have Jay Garrick, The Flash by Jeremy Adams. Oh, I loved rereading through this, and I can't wait to give the rating for each of these titles. Money Shot by Tim Seeley. Now this is something that the person who worked on that Alan Scott Green Lantern series should really be working on. Not be working on this, but not be working on Green Lantern, but be working on this. I think he would be perfect for the series. Plus, it also does deal with, well, some of the things that were spoken about in the series. Next, we have The Adventures of John Kent. Take note, this is the Bendis Taylor Tom Kent. It will never be the Tomasi Jurgens John Kent. Next we have Mech Cadets. Definitely check out the animated series. It's worth checking out. We have The Orphan, Rye the Orphan by Matt Kint. It's a bit of a second-hand book and it was worth picking up. Then we have a couple of Mark Millar books. So we have The Kingsman, Secret Service. It's nothing like the movie, but I respect the movie for what it did. This is done a little bit more different compared to the movie, and you do see the changes between the two. And last but not least, we have Wanted and Joshua Williamson's Batman and Reveal Yourself as Damian Wayne Robin because of that terrible belt buckle. Yeah. So, moving into first things first, for Hack Slash, I give a 7 out of 10. I actually quite enjoyed it. Yes, it does sort of focus on like female femme fatales, and you do sort of like see these characters return back to the place where they actually were taught some of their things. And yes, it did involve going, in their case, back to school. Next is the Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm glad I managed to get a hold of the Ultimate Spider-Man in the trade paperback version, because it was actually quite hard to get a hold of the individual issue version, but that's all right. At least I've got one way to which I can follow the series, to which I give it a 7 out of 10 so far. Hopefully the next volume might improve that. Next is the Terrifics. I really enjoyed what the additional writers on this, Jean Lu Yang, did with the Terrifics, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10. The Immortal Men, it was really good to reread this again, 8 out of 10. Next is the Defenders of the Earth. Considering how old it is, it's worth an 8 out of 10, and I'm looking forward to checking out the Dan Didio version of Defenders of the Earth and the trade paperback for that, and also finishing off of what I can finish off of the comics. And hopefully I'm still around when this video goes up. So we have Robotech Rick Hunter, basically the Cross series renamed as Robotech in the West. For what it is, it's really good. I enjoyed also following the comics, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Spider-Boy Volume 2, to which I give a 6.5 out of 10. I do think they could have done more with the character in this particular arc, but also done more to sort of like give the character his own villains. Next is Jay Garrick The Flash by Jeremy Adams. A big 8.5 out of 10 from me. I really enjoyed the run. Money Shot, yes, it's something for mature audiences, and considering it's a story for mature audiences, I give it an 8 out of 10. Adventures of John Kent, to which John Kent, well, hugs a fascist. And to which I still stick to the rating I gave it in the past. This thing belongs in Fool's Gold, to which it deserves a 4 out of 10. Overall, Mech Cadets, another good series by Greg Pak, as this is sort of like the sequel to the first series, Mech Cadet U. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Matt Kint with Rye Chapter 3, Volume 3, The Orphan, I give an 8 out of 10. The Kingsman Secret Service, even though, as I mentioned before, I have seen the movie probably a couple of times, or 1 or 2 times, and comparing it to the actual source material, I think they did an alright job with what they did movie-wise. How much Mark Millar got to work on the movie, I got no idea, or got to work on the movies, I got no idea. To which I'll give the source material itself an 8 out of 10. It is really good. Wanted, also a 7.5 out of 10. And last but not least, Batman and Robin, Father and Son by Joshua Williamson. I'm afraid I'm going to have to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.